receive guidance. Vital treatments are delayed or administered wrongly. Trust in technology erodes, and the very foundation of our healthcare system is shaken. For researchers, the impact is just as severe. Years of work, now under a cloud of doubt. Published studies questioned, reputations tarnished, and careers put at risk. The financial fallout? Massive. Legal battles, settlements, and the cost of restoring systems. Not to mention the human cost. Lives forever changed, some lost. This isn't a distant threat. It's happening now. Our reliance on AI makes us vulnerable, and the stakes couldn't be higher. We must act swiftly and decisively. Robust cybersecurity measures are no longer optional. They're essential. Protecting our technology is protecting our patients, our researchers, and our future. The dark side of AI in healthcare is real, but together we can defend against it. Because in the end, every life saved, every career preserved is worth the fight.
All right, so you will notice this, everybody. This is crazy stuff, but this is what can potentially happen, really. Overnight, you can realize in financial industry, healthcare, retail, whatever industry, this is mainstream now. So it means for us, the security around this model, it's no joke, right? And the controls around it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes, you will see some concept around this whole conversation, why it's important. If you were not part of our initial chat also, feel free to go to the documents, which I'll share also. You can have it and we can get into the details also. But let's quickly get into the PowerPoint. And after that, we do some working session, which is why we're here. And one thing I'll challenge you as a team, we work in groups. And in a bit, you'll see me push us in a working session. I want us to work together, think together, and understand the importance together as a team. So let me quickly share my screen. There now we just get this cookie going. All right, cool. All right, let's quickly jump into the future of AI models in general. Let's talk about this. Again, honored to be one of the mentors on this platform. Let's go. The whole idea of AI, all of us can agree, this is machine mimicking human intelligent processes like learning, the way we reason, and self-correcting. So this is not just our regular programming. This is saying a model that can actually adjust, reason like us, start adjusting our pattern also. So it's really crazy and scary because unlike in the past where you write a program that actually does tasks based on what you design it for, this can actually self-adjust also, and improve itself and self-correct itself over time. It is crazy. So the evolution is just gradually getting better over time. The application is across the board. For those of us that joined our session earlier on in the week, you will see some of the tools out there that are crazy. There are so many tools out there today, and I may share some later during this class so that you can see and understand why it's important. You see the tools in terms of psychoanalysis, in terms of generation of images, generation of songs, helping with analyzing fraud, underwriting, transcribing documents. It's just unending. The use cases are just scary, to be honest, right now. It's so scary that some of us are already thinking, would we be needed again? Because what these tools are doing are just mini godlike, really, because they can just do anything you want them to do. It's crazy right now, but that's the reality. Common ones out there: healthcare, finance, transportation, entertainment, automation, data analysis. Is just gradually getting better every time. So that's a big one out there. What are the types of AI generally? Again, we are no means trying to say we are AI authorities, but we're just saying in this whole world of AI and the trend, how do we provide some oversight? That's what we care about right now. The security around it, the controls around it, to make sure it doesn't go crazy. I want to be the pioneer to say, how do you provide oversight? Do you have this available? Today, you see the checklist of what we need to be available in any AI environment. Of course, we have the weak AI, specialized in task, images, virtual assistant. That's where we are right now. We are gradually getting to the general AI. where it has cognitive skills, intellectually executing things like human, and some models are getting towards there. The super intelligent AI right now, we are not there yet, right? The capacity is just crazy for that. So, the projection, I think from what I saw, in 2 years, there might be a form of super intelligent AI. So the adoption and the changes are just gradually getting crazy and crazy and crazy all the time. Believe it or not, every one of us on this call, you can actually build and download a large language model yourself on your system and adjust it to customize it to your own self and your need. I'll show you that also later. I'll show you the site where you can do that. We had that a while back where you just download LLM models. So it's available right now. So that's something really scary, really. Some technology around it just to keep us knowledgeable in general, machine learning. This system learn and improve through experience, algorithm, data. It's just a way a machine is trained to constantly improve itself. Neural network is like our brain cells processing complex data. Then we have the natural language processing. This allows machine to understand, interpret, and generate human language in general. And so those are some common terms you might see out there. Now, this is the big one for all of us. Let's pause for a second here. This is very, very critical. Ethical consideration in AI. Now, for most people, you will say, well, who cares? We just develop a model. But ladies and gentlemen, this is serious stuff. At the end of the day, one of the challenges we have seen, especially for groups considered minority, right? If you have AI models, large learning models that is not really unbiased, what will happen is that for loan application, mortgage application, health information like health transplant, for clinical research information for certain demography, it begins to tilt data. Then that's why it's important right now. Bias and fairness should be huge so that those models, you've tested them to make sure there is no bias in your model in terms of the training data you're using to avoid discrimination. So different regulators are really on top of it right now to say, okay, for your model, is there bias there or not? One of our friends and mentors, she gave an example. She asked the AI prompt to, create an avatar for her. She put an image, and she's an African with braids. And when she ran the model came out as a man bowed. So braids was gone, she became bowed. So the question is that definitely the model has not recognized certain demography and their features for it to, come up with a meaningful data. It's one thing to come up as a different color person, but it's another thing to come up as a male and now you're bowed. So it shows there's just no sensitivity to the data. It's not been cleaned. Another one is privacy concern. We can agree. This is a massive, big one also, right? At the end of the day, most of us that have reached out to me, the biggest question is always, what about the privacy implication? Let's say I mistakenly put information about my company into a chat GPT, for example, and I run it and suddenly, it gives me what I need, but is my company information safe, right? That's a popular question. Those are the things we want to make sure the model, how is it storing your data? That's a big deal, right? At the end of the day, how is it disclosing your data too? That's a big deal. The next one is accountability. At the end of the day, all of us can agree there should be some form of accountability. Now, let me tell you what I've seen. Most organizations in the world, the big players, naturally they have lobbyists in different countries and the Senate, the Congress, all over the world, right? Because they have the money, they can lobby laws to favor them. Fine. Now, the biggest challenge is this, though. At the end of the day, most of them will tell you we can self-regulate. Some of you might tell, yeah, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, Microsoft partner with them now. So, they will go to Congress and talk and say, well, we want you all to help us to regulate this AI. Now, look at the code word. In my opinion, what they try to do is they come quickly and say, well, you all help us to regulate. They know the Congress folks don't have idea of these tools. So it's a code word to say, let's regulate ourselves. Then they come up with some, framework to regulate themselves. Now, I'm not saying it's not a good start, but we want to provide oversight to you. You don't regulate yourself. All right. Yes, I know it sounds good in principle, but we don't want you to regulate yourself. Yes, we trust, but we verify, right? That's the key. So we don't want you to regulate yourself. We need an independent body, preferably, to also provide oversight on you because you're regulating yourself. I don't know, some of you might have heard of the event that happened this week, AT&T. The data of a lot of virtually all their customers was compromised, and this happened 2022, I believe, and they just disclosed this maybe like a few days ago. So that's not acceptable, right? So I can imagine the class action act that is going to happen with AT&T right now. I've not studied the details of the event, but I can imagine if what I read is true, it's going to be a very, very long couple of years for them because people would really go after them. That's a big deal, right? So the same thing for the AI world, things are changing. So people have to really, really be more intentional at this point in time also. Very, very big deal. All right. Another big one, now that we've talked about that, let's quickly jump into what do we really care about in terms of actually auditing AI models. Auditing AI models. And I think this is the big one that most of us would want to know that, okay, at the end of the day, we've said all of these cool, fancy things. What do we really care about? What is really important in terms of auditing these large learning models? And that's what we're going to start with today. We're going to look at some of those key things we need to care about and look at, right? And the beautiful thing also is that we have a good template that I think for most of us, honestly, you can actually immediately leverage it for your organization today. And I'll share this, you guys will see what it looks like. It's a maturity model to look at different areas in your organization. And based on that, you can easily tell and say, okay, what am I looking for in terms of my AI security in general? So you leave here with that knowledge and say, oh, okay, this is good stuff. So I'm just going to talk about some key documents that are very critical in general when we are looking at those large learning models. So I'll talk about them. Once we talk about them, I'll quickly share with us a very good Excel template. We look at like 10 of them. There are 21 areas I would like us to look at in this program. Today we'll start with 10. After we look at those 10, for every one of the 10 documents you have, you're going to discuss it in your team collectively. All right. But before I share that, let me just quickly share with you. We'll talk about those documents. Then you'll see me share some documents on WhatsApp. Okay. All right. If you're not on our WhatsApp group, you need to join it so that you can have access to those materials, and everything else is also in our our learning management system. I know I mentioned I was going to share that with you guys so that you can see what it looks like real quick. So let me just quickly do that before we jump into the lab. But let me share my screen 1 second. So if you've registered for this class, you would have access to this. You can see this document. This is our learning management system. If you look on the left, everybody, you will notice here there's week class 1. So I think this should be week 1. I'll change that. Then you will notice here the document is here. This is a document you should just have for your keeps. This is the presentation we use today. So you have access to the class presentation. So make sure you check this presentation out. Everything is there. Everything you need is there. So I'll still share it on the WhatsApp group just for easy access, but everything you need is here. If you look at this place that says AI model document downloads, let me see if I'm sharing my screen. If you can see my screen, do me a favor, just give me a thumbs up so that I'm sure you guys are looking at my screen. If you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up, please. All right, cool, cool. Thank you, thank you. So most of you can see it. So what you will notice is if you go down, please, you will notice one thing. Everyone, I tied it. Number 1 document, number 2 document, number 3 document, number 4 document. So all of these documents are key documents we typically look for in the world of assessing AI models, okay? And this would help us to ensure people are doing the right thing. Very important documents needed. And look at this document, what it looks like. You can download each of those documents. These are samples, and you can use them for yourself as a guide. So today, I'll talk about each of the documents, then we work together, and you all will decide yourself and tell me, in terms of maturity, tell me where this organization stand in terms of maturity for you. Now, you might ask me, what do I mean by that? Let me quickly show you what I mean. So at the end of the in our session today, I would have you all use this document. I'll share this document in a bit. This document is a maturity document. So based on the document you review, you will notice here, everybody, you see this section that says evidence here, right? This evidence have been provided to you also. All you need to do is simple. Look at the response of these folks here. You can check what their response is. You can change to the response. Now let's keep it simple. When I say response is simple, we use a maturity model. Think about it like saying on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you rank? 1 is bad, 2 is you're there, 3 standard, 4 really good, 5 you're top dog, you're top on the list, no problem. So you're using it as a way to kind of assess where they stand and rank in general. That's the whole gist about it. Now look at the cool thing about this model. For those of you that have never seen this, as you're changing it, it's giving them a score automatically here, which is great. Let me tell you what this means. If you can go to an organization today and tell them, hey, can I quickly assess your large learning model in terms of the maturity? That's all you're trying to do. And this will score based on your response with them. You can talk and tell them this is where they rank. You can tell them in terms of their biasness, they are ranked 2, meaning they are bad. They need to work on it. So this is really cool, very comprehensive, and you would have access to this document also, okay? So don't stress it, don't worry, you would have access to it, so don't stress it, okay? Some of you have pinged me one-on-one, but don't worry, you would have access to it. Okay, so we'll talk about that. But for starters today, I'm going to just quickly go through each of those elements that is required when you're looking at a large learning model. For those of you that just joined, let's quickly recap again. One of the common things we've seen, all of us are using ChatGPT. But ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT has its own potential problems. Some of the problems might be bias, privacy concern, security concern. So today we are saying, because of those kind of concerns, we want to make sure that I can come in and say, in your organization, this is where you stand. In terms of biasness, this is where I see you. In terms of privacy, this is where I see you. That's the cool thing. All right, let's quickly go into what each of those documents represent real quick. Then after that, we would get into the weeds of it. All right. Okay, let's go. All right, let's see. Let me quickly share my screen. And what I'm going to do, I'll go through each one of those documents very quick so that we can have enough time to actually look at some of those actual documents in real time. And we can start working together as a team real quick. All right. So let's talk about the first thing that is important. Access control policies and procedures and configuration. Ladies and gentlemen, don't overthink it. Anytime you hear the word policy, it's just high level documentation, right? So, there are 3 things. There's policy, procedure, guideline. Policies are always high level. Procedures get into step by step. Guidelines are best practices in general. They are optional mostly. All right, so let's keep it simple. Let me do a quick quiz to see if you guys are following me. Okay, now you can chat. If I ask you, what am I? I get into step by step. Am I a policy, procedure, or guideline? What am I? Procedure. Thank you. I agree. Okay. What about this? I'm optional and I just want best practices. What am I? Guideline. Let's take it again. There are 3 things. Let's pause. Policy is always high level, right? Procedure gets into step by step. Guideline is optional. You don't have to follow it, right? It's optional. Okay, let's final one. What am I? I see above everything, high level. What am I? That's it, really. That's really what it is, okay? So every environment, ladies and gentlemen, let me sneak this in real quick. Every environment would always have a policy. If you don't, that's a problem already, right? Then I hope you have procedures to get into the details of what you do. For example, I can ask you remote work policy. How do your employee work remotely? That's a policy. Give me a policy around it. I can now say, give me the procedure step by step. You might tell me, well, employee need to log into a VPN, then they need to log into a sale point. Now you're getting to the details, right? Then you might now tell me, well, we also have guideline. The guideline is just some best practice recommendation. I don't have to follow it, but it's a best practice. So, all right, got it. You guys are awesome. Okay. All right, you see that you can't chat for a second. That's okay. Let's quickly just go back to the document now. The reason I want us to pay attention to the documents I talk about is these are the things we would ask organization. Okay, this is what you're going to ask people. All right, so it's just awesome, really. All right, let's quickly talk about. I'll run through those documents. Then you would have access to it, of course, to watch the video later if you want to. Now, why is it important? You can see this is an example of a policy out there. We're saying, okay, role-based access, meaning grant people access based on their role. Why is it important? We are ensuring only authorized people have access to sensitive AI data. That's it. This can be anything, but we are focused on AI, right? So we are saying, give us a policy around access control. How do you grant access to users in terms of the large learning models? That's it. That's all I'm asking there. So you guys will say sample document and policy in the next later. The next one, logs of access attempt and permission changes. Let's pause, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm saying is, everybody, if you don't mind, do me a favor. Can we all type in audit log? If you don't mind, go ahead and type audit log. Some of you already have heard of this, but let's just type it if you don't mind. Audit log. Audit log. Thank you. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on this call, every one of us have a log. There's a log of your attempt on Zoom call today. I can track how many times you try to log into Zoom. It's just saying we want a log of people that log into our large learning model system. I think that's a fair thing, right? I mean, why is it important? We want to be able to monitor activities. That's all. I think it's a fair thing to ask, right? That's all. I'm just saying, okay, if you guys are logging into a large learning model that I don't know where you're logging in from, I should be able to track you. Now let's pause. I don't just want to track you. I want to know the user ID you used to log in and the action you perform, preferably. Mostly we'll track it with an IP address, so I can track where you're logging in from. Some of you logged in from Israel, Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, UK, Canada, US, fine. The point is, I want to be able to track where you logged in from, the timestamp also, because that's where I can go in and do forensic if there was a need to do it, okay? So that's really the gist of that. All right, cool. So I think we get that. Okay, let's go to the next one real quick. Anonymization technique applied to training data. Let's pause for a second. So what is this really saying? Let's pause. Can we all type in remove PHI and PII? Can we all type that, please, if you don't mind? Remove PHI, PII. Or let's start with remove PII, and PHI. And don't stress it, people. I'll tell you what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the US or Canada or anywhere in the world, really, PII is personal identification information. So anything that can tie you together with your personal information, we need to clean it. Now, that's why if you notice some of you that we use ChatGPT or Cloudy, any of these tools, we always say, hey, is my company information there? Is my personal information? The biggest threat is, did you mistakenly put somebody's social security or somebody's health record or somebody's date of birth? So the anonymization is just saying, do we have a system to show that we removed any personal identification information? That's really what we're doing. So I'm looking and saying, do we have a technique for anonymization? And we all now type in anonymization. Don't worry, don't feel bad. It's a word, okay, anonymization. I'm just saying we're trying to normalize and make sure that everything we have is strictly data that is not confidential. That's what it is, okay? So if you're in a meeting and you're asking them, hey, what's the proper anonymization? In an interview, if you talk to me, I want to make sure you tell me, I want to make sure there's proper cleaning, there's anonymization of the data. These are the things people, listen, man. If you say to anyone, guess what? They don't know better either. None of them have used LLM anyway. I can guarantee you it's very tiny people in the world that are at this space right now. So whatever you say with the confidence, it makes sense. That's the reality of it. Nothing, and you guys will agree, this makes sense. If you are putting large learning model, a risk is if we share sensitive information, personal health information, personal identification information, those are big risks. We can agree on that at the minimum. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, those are risks for anybody. And remember, it's a global field. The dark web sells data of everybody. They are not restricting it to North America or Europe. It's everybody. If your data is in Africa, in Latin America, in anywhere, Middle East, they will sell it. It's dark web. They just want money, right? Nobody cares. All right, thank you. Good. All right, let's talk about this. This is another big one. Give me a report on your data leakage assessment, And what is this saying? We're just saying we want to see if you did an actual assessment to show any kind of leakage in your environment and tell us the finding. Can we all type in data leakage assessment? If you don't mind, let's go. Data leakage assessment. Let's go, everybody, if you don't mind. Let's say data leakage assessment. Thank you. Let's type it real quick. And if you don't mind, we always appreciate when you type stuff because it makes it something we remember and understand the power of it. The whole idea is, and you can agree with me, why is it important? Let's think about it for a second. I'm saying, yes, I mean, these are serious stuff. I'm saying, check your model if there is no data leakage, that's all. And give me a report to show that you did some assessment to ensure there's no data leakage. Data leaks all the time in your database, but now we're talking about large learning model. We want to make sure there's no leakage, and if there was one, give us the report around it. So that's the whole gist about it, okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Result of adversary attack simulation. For some of us, you might have heard of the word pen testing. Can we all type the word pen testing real quick? Pen testing. So many times legally, some folks are, their job is to simulate an attack on your environment. So you give them access to attempt to attack your environment, and they'll give you a report. They use different tools out there to pen test you. So really, this is really like a pen test. You're attacking the model. There are some tools people use out there. Let me sneak in one just for knowledge sake. Can we all type in the tool called Burp Suite? B-U-R-P, Suite, B-U-R-P. Yes. Oh, you guys are awesome. You even got it. I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay, Bob Suite. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Okay, I like that. Somebody asked a very good question. Somebody said, is there a way we can generate the report ourselves, or if we can get it? Now, let me tell you one thing for sure, because it's really new for everybody. I can assure you, even when you're trying to generate those reports, it's going to be collaborative because a lot of people really don't really know what to do yet. And the reporting will be collaboration. You're asking the kind of information you think will be helpful. So everybody's still trying to figure out what is the right report to pull out. Now, some folks will tell you they are building new tools to automate that process right now. That is the market out there. But I don't think there's any major player yet that is saying, I'm just helping you to assess LLM model. I'm sure in another 6 months, 1 year, there will be. But at the moment, I'm not aware of any yet. So everybody's still trying to figure it out. That's the reality. And that's why this is so cool. I mean, it's always nice to be a pioneer because all of us are, all of us are still trying to figure it out. I like that. Kweku said cross collaboration is key. I agree with you because many times, we have to really work hand in hand with the team to understand what is the kind of report we can pull. And the beautiful thing is that once we all agree the kind of report that makes sense, then we can now at least zone in on that report specifically. All right, let's say another one real quick. This is very important, everybody. I love this one. Report on bias assessment and mitigation measure. Very important, So it means we have to have a process in place to show how do you analyze and test for bias. There should be a report to show a bias model. And many times, ladies and gentlemen, don't overthink it. There are samples out there we can see that will show you the report of a bias assessment. Sometimes they use demographic data. They use different kind of data to check for bias in terms of the model. And you will see an example of it. What you are looking for, you are not conducting the bias assessment. You're asking them, has it been done? And they should give you the report of that bias assessment. Okay, let's take it again. If you don't mind, can we all type bias assessment report? And it's not just enough to tell me you do a bias assessment. Did you actually come up with a mitigation measure? Meaning a way to fix it. It's one thing to tell me there's a bias in your model, and people will be mostly forthright. But the other thing is, what did we do to fix it at the end of the day, right? Very important. how did we fix the bias model itself? Okay, let's take one more, then we start working. And the files we've talked about up to bias, let me take maybe two more. Then we go in and assess just those top files. Look at the sample of those files together. Then we can now decide and say, okay, somebody said, what if they don't know how to conduct a bias assessment? That's perfect. That would be a new job, a new role. You would have to be the one to do it for them. You ask for sample data, you would ask for, and sometimes you might even use Excel. You'll see the one we have in our example. Okay, you know what? Let's pause and stop at the bias assessment for today so that we can just work on all the sample reports I've given us, all the sample documentation. Then I'll send those documentation to us right now in our, let me see where we stop there. 1 second. Bias assessment. Let me find it out real quick. Then we'll just use that as our guide. Bias assessment. Okay. I think that's number, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we did 6 up to bias assessment. Okay, yes, let's stop at bias assessment. So we're going to focus on, let me share my screen 1 second, everybody. So you see where we'll focus on today so that we can have time to really dig into those 6 documents. Look at the document I made us focus on today. If you guys see this, and I'll share it in our group right now, we have a document for access control policy. We talked about log, anonymization technique, report of data leakage. So we have 1, 2, 3, I think we have it up to 6. All right, 6 documents. So you see me send you all 6 documents and also inclusive of this Excel document. I'm going to share it right now. If you're on our WhatsApp, you'll see me share this document right now. Check your WhatsApp, everybody, if you don't mind. Check it in the next 2 minutes. I'll just share this document real quick. I'll say version 07/13/24. So you see me share this document, check your WhatsApp. Let's go. If you're not on our WhatsApp, you need to make sure you're there. So I'm sharing this, then I will also share the 7 documents with you, or the 6 documents, so that you can just have it. It's also on our if you all have access to our document anyway. So all right, so I've shared the Excel document. If you got the Excel document, please give me a thumbs up. And I'm also going to share with you 6 documents so that we can talk about those documents and be focused on those for today. 1 second. Check the WhatsApp. If you got it, do me a favor, just give me a thumbs up. If you got that document on WhatsApp, give me a thumbs up, please. And I'm going to share 6 documents for us right now in the class. You'll see the numbers 01 to 06. Let's start with 01 to 06. I'll forward it to the WhatsApp group real quick. 1, 2. Then we'll look at those documents, what they look like. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Check your WhatsApp group. I have 6 documents, 7 in total I sent to us. If you don't mind, check those. I sent 7 documents to you right now. Just take a quick look at those 7 documents as a team, if you don't mind. Check those 7 documents. All right. The documents will just be documents that are specific to what we'll be talking about right now, the one we talked about already. Let's open the first one, if you don't mind, everybody. Access control policy and procedure. You guys will see what this document looks like real quick. All right, let's quickly share. I'm sharing my screen. You have it in your document already, but let me just quickly share the first one, okay? Now, this is what that document looks like. An access control policy and configuration for a AI LLM model. You know, it's a high-level documentation. You can see it talks about the roles of everybody, the players. You can see everybody's role is defined here. It has the permission metrics, which is just saying it's like a RACI chart. Can we all type in RACI chart, everybody? RACI chart, RACI chart. RACI chart, everybody. And in case you've never heard of RACI chart, don't stress it. It's just a chart that highlights everybody's role and responsibility. That's all. You know, we use R stands for responsible, A, I believe, accountable, C, consulted, I, informed. It's a popular thing. I bet you, whatever your field is today, if you put, I'm a data analyst, just a data analyst RACI chart, it will pull it for you. You'll see what the chart looks like. It's just a way to kind of keep us all organized in what our roles are. That's all. All right, so let's quickly look at this, everybody. You can see this is what a sample documentation look like for policy, access control policy, right? It will tell you the authentication, the authorization. So what are you looking for, ladies and gentlemen? You just want to make sure they have a document like this. That's all. You know, that's what you're looking for here, all right? Then it gets into incident response, training and awareness. Okay, the second one, if you notice, go to the second document I also shared. The one that you'll see the number in front of it, 01. Let's look at 02. Let me share my screen real quick. Then you guys will do your assessment in a bit, but let me show you what 02 looks like. Now, 02 is just saying logs of access, attempt, and permission changes. I'm just saying I want to see, you know, what am I looking for? Look at what I'm looking for. The timestamp, user ID, IP address, event type. This is what I'm looking for that they have handy at the end of the day, right? This is what I'm checking. So they should have something like this. Somebody asked me, what about if they don't have it? Then it's a gap. That's a problem. That's all. If they don't have a document like this, now it might not look like this, but this is an example. If they don't have a document like this, then that's a gap. That's a problem, right? Then you just put it as a comment. It's a gap. They need to fix it. Now look at the format. If you look here, I mean, they can use whatever format they have, but this just gives you an idea of what the log format looks like. You know, the timestamp, the user ID, the IP address, login attempt. It can come up in any way. Then this is the login mechanism. They can use different tools for monitoring. Here they use Splunk, which is a monitoring tool. You know, what is their log retention policy? How long do they retain log if they capture information? In this case, they said is 1 year. And that's okay. If that's their policy, right? So that's an example out there. Okay. So let's go to the third one. Once we get to the sixth one, then we go work. You know, I've gone through the second one. Let's go through the third one. Remember, we talk about anonymization technique, which is just saying, how do we clean all those files, right? Now let's talk about the cleaning of those files here. You know, so they should have a document to tell me what is their technique applied to training data. How do they clean all of those files, right? So look at what they did here, which is good. You know, if you notice here, they said, okay, they have something for PII, which is the personal identification information here. So they said, okay, this is what they are looking for, which is good. They said for the PHI, this is what they are looking for, which is good. So anything that is here, we expected that they should make sure that they, you know, they don't allow it to make it into the large learning model. And what's their technique? They stated is, you know, for example, for data masking, they mask the data, right? They gave us an example. They said, transform John Doe to this format. You can see this is great. So at least we know they are doing something here, right? You can tell that this is really good. They have something they are doing right now. They are masking the data. And that's what I want to see that they are doing. Look at noise addition. Sometimes they will add noise just to, they can suppress the data, but they have a plan. This is good stuff. They've broken it down into how they want to do it. And that's what you're checking in general. Do they even have a process to anonymization technique for training data, right? So at the end of the day, do they have a process in place? Yes or no, right? If they don't have one, then that's a gap. If they do, we're in business. Now, what I'm looking for, if I'm looking at this personally, I'm going to check for stuff like, how do they do data masking? Have they highlighted the kind of data they would even be checking? So this is a big one. Once I know they've highlighted important, and I think we can all agree, these are the big ones: your name, social security, account number, anything that can ties data to you. I want to make sure they're doing it. That's a big one. All right, so that's number 3. Let's go to number, that's number 3. We have 3 more. Let's go to number 4, Number 4 is report on data leakage assessment. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at report on data leakage assessment. So this is talking about, okay, did they even run an assessment, and what was the report of the assessment? So yeah, I think they did something which was good. So they did like a data leakage risk assessment, which I love this actually, that they actually went further to do a risk assessment of their data leakage. And they said, okay, medium, high, low, medium. Okay, good. So I know they did something. I would definitely ask one question, at the end of the day, what's their remediation plan? How do they intend to fix it? You can see here they have recommendation and remediation, which is good. It shows that they are not just identifying data leakage issues, they are also coming up with recommendation and remediation plan. I love it. That's great. So they didn't stop there. They also went further to say this is their recommendation and remediation plan. So that's good. All right, let's go to number 5. Go to results of adversary simulation. Let's go to number 5. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. And everybody make sure on your own, just go look at those documents again. They are really good stuff. And these are real live samples we extracted. Result of adversary attack simulation. Again, this is more like a result of a pen test, or equivalent of a pen test, So look at the simulation that was done in this pen test. They did data poisoning attack. If you remember the video we watched, they talked about a scenario whereby there was an attack on the data for the healthcare, how it changed information, how it caused reputational damage, all the research data that all these researchers have done for many years, kind of was thrown down the drain because of that. So it's a big deal, right? So you can see this is a good one, very good one. They are different simulation, data poisoning, evasion, model invasion. So you can see here, they have a couple of very good scenarios they did, and they check their success rate. And if you look down, they also went into detailed finding and analysis. So this is great. This is good. It shows that they did a pen test, on top of their model. Very important. But it's not enough to tell me there was an issue. What did we do to try to fix it is a bigger question, which is great. All right, let's go to the final one. So this is number 5. Now let's go to number 6. And you all have access to this information anyway. And this will be the last one before we get into our lab. The last one is report on bias assessment and mitigation. A lot of us like this one. Now, this is a good one. Let me share this screen real quick. So remember again, somebody asked, how do we do the bias? You can actually start probing how you want to do it yourself if you choose to. So you'll notice there are different ways you can do it, right? There's sample bias, this can be a little bit more easy to play with because here you can actually say, okay, show me demographic information. Look at this one. It says training data not representative of all demographics. So this could be actual data. Measurement bias, sometimes inaccurate or inconsistent data collection method. So how are you collecting your data? Is it skewed towards certain people? So you want to check the data quality assessment. Algorithm bias, if you use your algorithm to focus on certain kind of people or location, then it's a natural way to say, okay, this algorithm seems biased, right? And sometimes how do we fix it? You adjust the algorithm. If your demographic data is not diverse, you make it diverse. So the fixes are just the findings, really. If you find it, then reverse it and fix it. That's it. If the measurement you use is tilted, then make it a more inclusive measurement, as simple as that. So it's nothing, no rocket science there. Then this is just the detail of it to tell you the specific of what happened. And you can now, every company should have one. If it was not done, you will request to do it. Definitely you will request to do it. Now, they can challenge you and say why they are not doing it. Take it back to understand that, look, we might violate regulation if we don't do it. It might lead to reputational damage for us if we don't do it. So people understand the ramification of not doing stuff like that, okay? All right, so what we're going to do real quick, you all have access to this document. Typically, we give each other 20 minutes work session, then we come back together, and that's the way we normally do it. So you all have access to this document. So Don't forget, it's already recorded. Our sessions are recorded, Jafar, so we're good. You would have access to the recording after the class. Don't worry about that. But first thing we're going to do is our breakout session. What I want us to do as a team is, this is always the fun part. Let me show you guys real quick. And don't stay too long. We're just going to do 6 only. 6 only is what we're going to do. And let me show you the 6. So look at it, everybody. We're going to do the first one together. Then you guys can decide how you want to do the other ones. I will delete all the response here for the purpose of this exercise, okay? Then we can do as separate and fresh. Let's take this for example. I asked these folks, the question is, let me see if I actually, let me unhide this. Okay, ABC. So I'm asking them in this case that, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, E. Okay. I'm asking them, they told me that, okay, I'm asking about unauthorized access to training data and model. They told me that access controls are enforced through a combination of physical security measures and digital authentication measures. What do you think I should score them in general? And feel free to tell me, what do you guys think we should score them here? Do you think that they are good? Somebody said 3. Okay, I think I'll go with 3 too. 3 sounds reasonable. Let's take the second one together. They said, I asked them in terms of pen testing, attempt, unauthorized access to LLM. Okay, I asked user roles are defined. They said user roles are defined based on job function with permission set to least privilege. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'll probably go with 3 here. So I want you all to just do the last 4 together. This was their response in their organization. I want you to tell me what you all think. If you guys will score them, what you guys will score them. And as you are scoring them, you'll notice this AI model. It will be changing the number here. But I'm curious, by the time we are done, let's see what it will look like. Let me see this one. So we'll just do the last 4 together as a team. Then we'll come back. Okay? If this makes sense, give me thumbs up. Okay, I like that. A lot of you give them 4, and that's okay. As long as you can defend it, that's fine. So I'll put you all in a room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing. Once I put you in a room, what will happen is that there will be silence. Don't leave. You have the option to join the group. All I want you to do is just do the last 4 together and talk as a team. I forgot to add the question, but look at the response. All I needed to check is that, is the response reasonable? Based on their response, you can actually go in and you will see the score changes, okay? We don't have access to their large learning model because you are not really a coder. You're not going to do anything with their model, right? You're not a machine learning engineer, but you can download models out there. There are many. I'll send the link to you. This group is going to be my AI thing. I'll tell you one thing, your life will change positively if you follow what we do, because your efficiency will be crazy. The way you think will be crazy. You can do a lot of things with AI tools. I mean, you'll be a top dog, I guarantee you. If you follow our community with AI, what we do is crazy. You're going to be the top players. I know that. If you just follow us, you see us do this AI and you thing, just plug in, watch the videos, see the new tools. Every week I'll try and tell you tools out there. I focus on the use cases. So the tools that are used for industry. That's all I care about, because I think from a business angle, what's going to make our life efficient. So think that way also, okay? And you just realize you are really on top because you are always seeing what's happening out there. All right, so let's quickly work in a group now. One thing I'll tell you, remember again, you guys will be in a group of about 15 of us. So just feel free, have fun, and we'll bring you guys back in the next few minutes, and let's just rock it together. All right, don't leave. This is the most important piece. The documents are already available, but just play with the dashboard. In real life, that's the assessment you're doing. That's the tool you're going to use for your company. You look at the document, yes, the document I sent. You all can look at the document and say, is this okay? If you think it's okay, give them a pass. If you think it's not, request more information. All right, let's do that for the next 15 minutes, okay? And just be confident. Don't shy away from talking. Talk, get to the group and talk. Be engaged. That's the key. All right, and have fun. We'll bring you back in 12 minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know one thing I'll challenge you. Please do me a favor if you don't mind, everybody. Make sure whatever group you join, if you don't mind, remember your group number. We have 15 groups. Going forward, I would give you the option to select your group. So it's always nice if we keep the same group. So you can always check and join your group. So we have 15 groups. Know your group number on Wednesday, join them. Now, thank you, everybody. I know we did 6 projects, 6 documents. Some of them had repetition. I think that was my mistake. Okay, so I would fix that. Are we up to? Were we up to 19? Group 19? Um. Oh, sorry, folks. Shoo. All right, no big deal. Don't worry, folks. Yes, the number was there on the group, but in case you don't know your group, that's okay. No big deal. We're just going for. I forgot to mention that, but you know what? Let's do something. Let me take you back to your group for 1 second. All right, I'll open your group back so you can know your group real quick. I'll open it for 1 second and bring it back. Let's go. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much. Hopefully you've noted your groups now, everybody. So on Wednesday, we would always open our groups out so you can be consistent, keep your group. Always show up, folks. This is just the beginning. By Wednesday, there was some mistake I made on the Excel, so I would update it and send to you all later, okay? So this is great, folks. Beginning of great things. Show up. We've done 6. We have 15 to go. Once we are done with those 15, start thinking in an interview mindset and say to anyone, hey, I review AI bias, I review access control policy. Every one of those documents, own it and talk about it in any organization. You review the logs, attempts, and permission chain. You'll check for the anonymization documentation. You check on the data leakage access. Those are the things. If you say it to me in an interview, honestly, I probably don't even know it myself. And they will just say, you know what, whatever you're saying sounds good. Come on board. It's a big need out there. Google and check AI compliance analyst. I've seen some jobs tagged AI compliance analyst, which is great. So I wish you all the best. That's all we got. Remember, impossible is nothing. Half of the battle is showing up. Keep showing up. What if this could be the turning point? Just let's make it the best ever. Best week ever. Godspeed. We'll keep giving you information on the AI group. Remember, we're not going to call you for anything. Beware of scammers. And just maximize life. God bless. Talk soon, everybody. Bye. Enjoy our flagship Skillweed song. Really cool song. Courtesy of AI, people. It's amazing what this AI tool is doing. Crazy. And I'm going to send the class recording also. So just
Skillweed Academy, where leaders of
get,
long
share,
embrace the tempo,
get the fun
let your
crowd.
king sing storm.
Yeah.
Rise up.